What's up, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with a haul video. That's right. Today is new-ish comic book day. That's right, because the South is so unfamiliar with this little icy thing called snow, ice. Anyway, because we're so unfamiliar with that, today when I go to the new comic book shop, they didn't even have my new books in for the week. Sad emojis, sad emojis. But they did have the books from last week. So I went Saturday, and they only had the DC books, and then so I got the Marvel books. I might have got the DC books for this week and then the Marvel books for last week, but I'll have to check. But before we get into all that goodness and showing the mail calls and the things like that, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and the bell notification if you haven't already, so that when videos like this drop ever so randomly, you will be one of the first people to know and can make the conscious decision as to whether or not to watch it now or later. But as long as you watch it, we appreciate you. We've got somebody all the way from New Mexico already watching us. What is going on? Mars Comics, how is it going? Thank you all for hanging out today. So I got a video dropping tomorrow talking about my Spider-Man booth stuff, and got some other goodies in today. So let's go on a little rant, shall we? What's going on, Legion of Comics, Mark? And so here is the problem with buying off of eBay. So as you can imagine, these are not photos that I purchased. These were comics that I purchased. And this was already open, and this the tape was loosely on there. So they had reused an old photo envelope. And I said, oh, wow, okay. So I open it up. And yeah, so I knew that this book was not in pristine shape anyway already. But then you throw in the fact that it's not in a boarding bag in that kind of a situation with the current state of the USPS, and you have all kinds of problems. So as far as shipping goes, they get a great big F. So for those of you who are not familiar, World Wrestling Federation, WWF, this is Valiant's first crack at comics. They did these Nintendo and WWF books, and they're a little hard to find. You don't just come across them all of the time. But they're really cool and very nostalgic. I'm not a big wrestling fan, but I am a big fan of Valiant, obviously. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but yeah, so you had all the WWF folks from there. Again, I knew that it wasn't in great shape. Steve Ditko actually worked on some of these WWF books. So yeah, you can try to see if this one, some of the Nintendo books, they don't really put credits on them, and not very many credits on these either. But yeah, so this is one of there's 4 or 5 of these WWF books. I was just happy to have it in the PC. Wasn't really looking for super tip-top shape. However, can look back at the picture to see whether or not it was in a little bit slightly better shape than when it was left there, as opposed to when it got here. So those of you who are familiar with the channel, you know that I'm working on that Batman 200 run, and we're constantly chipping away at it. That I'm going backwards, so I'm at 262 to 713 is what I have sequential numbering, and so I'm just kind of working backward from that. That way, I keep the focus on a bigger, books. There's not that many expensive books in the 200s that I don't already have, but there are a few. I know, right? Who knew? Who knew? Ruben Guzman, what's going on, man? But so when I come across a good deal, I go ahead and snap it up. So this is Batman 200. So it's a 6.5 white pages. This is Neil Adams in here. Let's see, Neil Adams cover, Joe Giella art. Imagine he's the inker. And Scarecrow appearance, Penguin, Killer Moth, and Joker cameo. And this has got the old covers in the background there. That's, of course, Batman 8, which I do have a copy of. And some of the classic covers there. I got a copy of that one, too. But so I picked this up from Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, I think's what their names are, over on Instagram. Picked that up from them on the cheap. And they sometimes, I'm assuming they're husband and wife, but sometimes their stuff is separate. And they'll say that on the sale. Well, it wasn't on this one. So I made a comment. I said, "Hey, have you mailed my slab out yet? Because I'd be interested in this book." Well, by the time they answered me, somebody had already picked it up. So I was going to try to slide another Batman 200 something up in there with that. So I am needing like 30, 34, something like that, comics to complete the Batman 200 to 713. So kind of just whittling it away. So you've seen the horror of eBay seller packaging. Comics Talk Weekly. He's here today with a slight chance of rain in the forecast. Hopefully all's doing well. Thanks. Flash by night up in here. What is going on? It's morphin' time. What's going on, Bert? So I got these from Tricky Trapster. So he threw up a Conan lot, and I'm working on an AOK to the main man, Varangian Vigilante. And he's a Conan fan, if y'all didn't know. And so Tricky had these up. So let's see, we got Conan 142. 127. I think I had already bought that somewhere else, which is no big deal. I got them on the cheap. And 126 there. I know I got 125 already in that pile, and 143 in that pile. But Conan, the main series, is fairly easy to sell. The Conan the King, I found out, is not, for whatever reason. But my shop didn't get their book, so I have to go. Hey, look, mine didn't either. That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, because sometimes you'll buy, they'll be like from comic shops, and so you assume that they know how to ship. But in this case, I don't think it was a comic shop. I did go to my LCS, and I had much the same situation there. So I went to Ollie's. I don't know if any of y'all have an Ollie's around you, but Ollie's has a variety of different books, like hardcovers and trade paperbacks and things like that you can get on the cheap. And what I found at the various Ollie's that I've gone into, that they're very diverse, meaning it's not cookie cutter. Like Walmart's, you go in every Walmart, if one's got comics, they got the same comics. It's not that case with Ollie. So if you've been to one, you haven't been to them all, go check one out. They have comic packs as well. With the comic packs, they're kind of the loose bagging, so you can kind of see what the middle book is. At least that's what I do, because I like to know. And so these, I guess a whole bunch of people had opened up comic packs, and so they were just there. It was aggravating. Well, I'll tell you about that in a minute. So we got Conan 202. Again, another Varangian Vigilante find there. We got Spider-Gwen. Thought this was a cool cover, and I will just sell it on cheap on one of my auctions. Shadow Man number 5, one I needed there. Quantum and Woody number 8. And Batman Detective Comics number 1, the annual. So these were open. I'm guessing that some kid either stole them or whatever reason they opened them, and so they had them as single issues. I didn't know if they were selling them as single issues or if they would do like, okay, well, you got 5. That's the same thing as a comic grab bag, which is $5, which is $1 a piece. So I mean, that's what I was okay with. So I go up there, and they're like, I don't know where this stuff's coming from. I don't know how to charge you for it. So they call the lady, I guess, who was the manager over there to look at it. This woman is manhandling my comic books. manhandling my comic books. She's like flopping them around, like, "Oh yeah, this is stupid comic book," and I'm like, trying to grab the comic books. I wanted to take that woman and go. Hate when they do that. Hate when they do that. So, but I ended up getting them from 89 cents a piece. So just FYI, if you're out there, and that's the only Ollie's that I've been to that I have been able to buy them singly. I'm sure they're not the only one that's had ones opened. I couldn't imagine why they would buy them singly and then just leave them out there and no protection or nothing. But that's got to be what happened. But at least at that one, and to my earlier point, that every Ollie's is a little bit different. So be sure to check them out. And Flash by Night says, good stuff, cheap. And they also have, what's going on, Steven Spock? How are you? They also have stuff like action figures and that type of thing as well. And it's not one of those rated places like Walmart's gotten to be with comic packs. People know when they put them out, and they go out there and they pick them up and they grab them before anybody else can grab them. And then they're putting them up on eBay for 3 times, 4 times the amount, that type of thing. Ollie's has not gotten that way. At least that's the way it seems to me. And you can get some good stuff fairly cheap there. We've got, of course, Steven Spock I mentioned, as well as Traveling Root Beer. What's going on? How are you? Yes, lots of diamond delays this week. So got to the LCS Saturday, as I mentioned earlier. They had my Batman book from last week, but no Marvel. I said, well, I kind of figured that, but I was in town, so I just wanted to check it out. So thought maybe everything would be back to normal. And that's why I titled this New-ish, because it's new to me, not so new. And this is one of the reasons why I've been kind of laying on the down low when everybody's doing all these Last Ronin, because I haven't even read it yet. All these Last Ronin reviews, and I'm like, man, this sounds so good. So I did pick it up today. Actually got AMKM, who sells on various auctions, one of them being Metaphorical's auction. He was sending me some stuff anyway, so I got him to go ahead and get. I bought another one because I wasn't sure whether my LCS was going to get it, because if you recall from the first Last Ronin, they were all sold out. You know, I was sitting there scrambling trying to find one. I didn't know, even though it was on my pull, I didn't know if they would get shorted. So just to be safe, so I have an extra one. You know, if I want to keep it, fine. If I don't, you know, that's fine too. So from what I was not able to keep myself from hearing, this promises to be just as good as the last one, Raphael's Last Stand. So got this one. It was in my box. And this one was too, which was surprising. I believe this is the 1 in 10 incentive. So I paid cover price for that. And that's pretty cool. Sometimes my LCS will hook me up because he knows I buy a bunch of books from him each and every week. You know, typically I'm spending $50 to $60 on new comic books every single week. So when you're spending that much and then normally I'll buy my supplies from there and things like that. He gives me the hookup. He didn't upcharge me or anything. So that was good also. Then I picked up Thor number 12. Another killer series. Donny Cates has been doing a good job. Supposedly there's a death of somebody in here. So I've been having to lay low on the YouTubes because not on anything to be spoiled for some of these big books like this. We got Savage number 1. This is a Valiant title. So this is the new release of the Savage title, which later on in Valiant Entertainments was their attempt to get Turok or a Turok-like character, since Turok, Magnus, and Solar had went back to someone else, Dark Horse, and then now Dynamite. They couldn't use those characters anymore like they had previously done, so they tried to recapture some of the magic by having a similar character. And so Divinity was their attempt at Dr. Solar. Savage was their attempt at Turok, and they didn't do one for Magnus for whatever reason. We got Savage Avengers number 18. Savage Avengers has been a fun title. You know, it's just kind of this motley crew of people put together. I did not like the last issue just because, and the thing about it is, Marvel comes in and says, "Hey, you need a tie-in with King in Black," and it kind of disrupts the storytelling, in my opinion, messes things up. But we'll see how it goes. I was thinking that this Savage Avengers was going to end fairly soon, and so that wasn't going to be a very long running title. Having said that, Marvel doesn't have many long running titles anymore before they hit a new number one. Uh, Entertainment, what's up? What's up? Then we got Once and Future number 16. So before the last issue, I had kind of been waning on Once and Future a little bit. It started off really great, liked it, dug the Dan Moore art. Gillian liked the storytelling. It's just kind of like, okay, and I believe anybody in the chat that knows differently or on the rewind in the comments knows differently, let me know. But my understanding was that Once and Future was supposed to be a miniseries. When it was selling so great, Boom says, "Hey, why don't we just stretch this out a little bit?" So you can kind of tell that. And it had been kind of like, okay, I'm stretching this out, stretching it out. Oh, okay, this is going on too long, kind of like a Tom King Batman run. And so I had last issue was pretty good. So good hopes for this one. Entertainment. Don't be starting stuff, man. Don't be starting stuff. If Mark from Legion of Comics is in here, he's going to latch on to that. Mr. Garrow, hello there. And so, see. Yeah, so to answer your question loosely, or soft collecting, as I've referred to it often, I'm not going after any of those books. I'm basically, if I find them on cheap in the dollar bins, then I pick them up. Well, that means you're collecting it, right? Kind of, but I'm not beholden to it. So, like, if I just lose interest in it, I can turn around and I'm going to sell them. But the the problem I had when you got the Hulk one, and then of course I got 180, 181, 182, 340. You know, some of the bigger books of that entire run, and a lot of the books you can get in out of the dollar bin. It's like, well, it's kind of easy, so I'm just kind of letting it develop organically. Mr. Garrell says, when are you dumping the Star Wars? Is the question that I have. Well, that is a good question, Mr. Garrell. I am getting rid of some of my Star Wars if you're interested. But, you know, Mr. Garrell's so tight that when he walks, he squeaks. Seriously, though, I am getting rid of some of my Star Wars. I'm in the process of it. I think I've got some books that are at CBCS right now, like the newsstand photo edition of Star Wars Tales. I forget the number, but it's got Darth Maul on the front cover, and it's a pretty pricey book. If that one comes back big, I'll probably sell it. I've got my Legacy #1 there. I might sell it. So you don't ever know. You're collecting them, and I'm proud of for you. You won't lose interest every issue you buy. And that's the problem with people like myself that are run collectors, right? Because, you know, you get several, you're like, okay, here's these 20. Well, I've got 15 of the 20. Man, I only need 5 to have 20 in a row. Wow. You know, and then you start going after it. So we'll see. Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon, #2. So like #1, in recent years, I haven't liked the way they've depicted Danny or Iron Fist as. It's just like he's a goofball type deal. And I never got that from the old Iron Fist and Power Man team up back in the day. But Larry Hama is writing this, and so he's a good writer, and I like the way the last one did. So we'll see how this one does. Hulk and Batman are the best. Been looking at the Batman versus Hulk crossover. I'm assuming that you're talking about the crossover that Tricky Trapster done for me, which I put in the last video. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I had gotten some of the inspiration, obviously, from Hulk 181, but the other inspiration came from the old Treasury edition from years ago. of the Batman and Hulk. They did a Superman and Spider-Man one, but I have the Batman and Hulk. That was kind of some of the inspiration from that. Got Cable number 8. Certainly not my favorite rendition of Cable. I like the old, even Liefeld pockets are better than Kid Cable in my estimation. But I think Duggan's been doing the writing, which hit and miss for me on Marauders, but he's pretty good on Savage Avengers. Phil Noto, and it just kind of worked for me. Plus, I'm a Cable fan, completionist. And so I have all of, volumes 1 through, how many volumes is Cable on now? 5 or 6. And so I have all of them. And so I've been picking that up. I'm hoping that they will advance his age at some point and return him back to that version of Cable. So American Ronin, I had heard some good things about this. Get AWA Upshot. I get a couple of them. What's the name of that one? Erratic. That's good. But this is the only other one I think I'm getting for AWA Upshot. Resistance was good. I read the first 2 issues, and then I said, this is probably going to read better as a trade. So I just went ahead and got the last 3. So this is the last one. So I'm going to read them one right after another and kind of see where things go. But it's kind of like this guy's kind of like Bloodshot, if you will. He's got something in his system that he can take on the personality and know what this other person's saying. It's kind of weird. Sith Lordly, what's going on? I did not. Is We Live a Boone title or a AWA title? Louis the 13th. Louis the 13th. I am. Okay. X-Men Legends number 1. So Marvel, if anything, knows how to tickle that nostalgic funny bone. And so knowing that some people would be off-put by, say, X-Men Children of the Atom, then why not bring back some classic X-Men artist on a 90s X-Men title? And so this is kind of it's not a retcon, but how they put stuff back in there. Brett Booth is penciling that, which being digging. Fabian Nicieza is writing it, so another X-Men aficionado. So Brett Booth had done the last issue of X-Men, which I really liked. They had gone back to some of the more classic costumes, and it felt like an old X-Men issue versus some of this other stuff they're doing now. But Brett Booth, I believe, has also drawn the interiors of the Bloodshot thing. So there's that as well. Oh, when to cancel. Aftershock title. Okay. Am I getting anything from Aftershock? No, because the only thing I was getting from Aftershock was, oh, goodness, what is that title? Where she's a blood something. Devil's Red Bride. Yeah. No, that's Vault. So it's not even Aftershock. Devil's Red Bride was the only Vault comic I was getting. Let's see. Aftershock. Am I getting any Aftershock comics? I'm looking at my CLZ, by the way. No. The only Aftershock that I have anything of is Dark Ark, which was kind of interesting, but it wasn't enough to hold me over. Colin Bunn had wrote that. Basically, that when Noah was on the ark with his family and the animals, there was demons on this dark ark at the same time. It's kind of an interesting concept, but it wasn't enough for me to continue to get it. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So yeah, so there is that. But no, I've heard some good stuff. But see, the problem is I don't hear about it until afterwards, and if I don't order it like right then when I'm thinking about it, when I go to freshcomics.com and pull, get my list of what I'm going to pull, and I send it to my LCS, he doesn't get any of that stuff from I'm surprised really that he even got the AWA titles in initially. because he just didn't get any of that stuff. If it's risque, not risque as in the sense of but it's risky as in not a lot of people know about it, so it might not sell. It might sit on the thing. He's not going to buy it. He's just not going to take that chance. But I get it. But Walking Dead Deluxe #9. I keep saying I'm going to get just the deal, but the trades, but I keep coming back every time with that Finch cover. And I like the floppy experience. Pause. Interesting. Okay. All right. What do we got? Yeah, I noticed on this Spider Gwen that it didn't break color. So yeah, somebody could press it. That Spider Gwen that I got earlier, kind of a cool painted cover. But that is all that I have. For those of you who came in late, this is the WWE back in the day where this was only $3 for a little book. They're certainly not going to get good feedback on eBay like this. So, Roddy Piper, the Ultimate Warrior, the Undertaker, Ted DiBiase. Boy, this brings back some memories. The funny experience. Yeah, that's what. Pause. Yeah. Because no man over 40 says that they like the floppy experience. Just saying. Okay. But that is all that I got, folks. I do appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Before you get out of here, go ahead and smash that like button and the subscribe button. And if you haven't already, the bell notification. So when videos like this drop ever so randomly, you are one of the first people to know and can make the conscious decision as to whether or not to watch it now or later. But as long as you watch it, we appreciate you. So be sure to go and enter the 900 subscriber giveaway for that Guardians of the Galaxy Omnibus, and so that you can win that. We're kind of trying to creep towards the 900. It's funny how things like go, and it ebbs and flows, and there for a while it's just like new subscribers, and then it's just kind of like, okay, come on, we're almost at 900, we're almost there. And what do you do? Who cares? But yeah, so just be sure to go and enter in, so that when we do get to 900, that you will be entered on that wheel. Tomorrow, we'll be dropping a pre-recorded video for 4 Spider-Man booth boxes that I opened, and you will be able to grade those boxes and see what I got in there. And then next week, and all the more reason to hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of this. But next week, next Wednesday, so a week from today, it's already up on there. It's already live, but it's already scheduled, I should say, that EGS. So the owner of EGS Grading Services is going to be on my channel. And so I'm going to be interviewing him. And I know that some of you have talked about EGS, especially on the show that I did the other night with Randy from Legal Burning. And so find out more about EGS. See if it's a viable alternative. We know that CGC is doing what they're doing. Nobody likes PGX, it seems, but now CBCS is getting more and more busy. Is there another alternative? I don't know. And you can decide, because we're just going to bring you the information, and then you can decide if it's for you or not. And maybe sometimes there's a case where it might be, and sometimes there's a case where it might not be. That's all up to you, because as Two Brothers likes to say, collect your way. And that's the way you should do. So you won't be disappointed at the end of the day with a whole bunch of stuff that you don't like. Mark says, Legion of Comics, in other words, says, I have slowed before 500. Yeah, that's the way it goes. You're like, man, look at this. And it's like, what really kills you is when you like go backwards in subs. It's like, where are my people going? And so they say, well, YouTube is scrubbing out all the fake bot accounts. And so it's kind of strange, but yeah, it happens. So as long as you can keep doing this, you're okay. But when it goes backwards, like a while back, I like lost 13 subs over like 2 days. It's like I had that many bots. It must be that woman that's watching my show saying that she's lonely. I told her she needs a comic book, and that might be why she keeps coming back. But she says she's the only girl for me. But or guy that says it. It might be a guy. Who knows? When is your interview? Good question. And by the way, happy birthday, Captain Comics. The interview, check the channel to keep me honest, but I believe it is 7:30 Central Time. 7:30 Central Time is what I believe, but it's already scheduled, and so it should show up on my YouTube page. Matter of fact, let me just verify that right here. I can pull that up. Why does my computer like to be so slow? Let's see. It's already up. Is greater than the floppy experience. For sure. For sure. Let's see. It is scheduled. Let's see what time it is scheduled for. I know it's scheduled for March the 3rd. What time is it scheduled for? Uh, 7 p.m. I stand corrected. It's 7 p.m. Central Time. So 7 p.m. Central Time. Sleeping Collectibles. What's going on? The smoothest cat in the business. The guy had. Now we were talking about how you get to this point and you just kind of level off a little bit. Not this cat. I mean, he's chill. He's chillaxed, and he's gaining subscribers. Kind of like some of these stars, can make it rain. He's making subscribers rain. He's just like, bonanza. That's right. But yeah, so 7 o'clock's next week, and on Wednesday, so March the 3rd. We'll be interviewing EGS. And so feel free to come and check that out so that and ask any questions that I might not be thinking about. It might be something that's been on your mind. You're able to ask them right there on the show. I've got a fireplace. I just need to rearrange my room just to get behind the fireplace behind me. I could be like Sleeping Collectibles and just kind of chillax. Yeah. We got Matthew Shapiro up in the house. What's up? What's up? But yeah, that's all I got, folks. Appreciate you stopping by. Until next time, keep reading and keep collecting.